time has come to bring peace to those brave soldiers who followed Tratea before she became controlled by the darkness. Sir Archeron has tasked you with a mission to lay these soldiers' spirits to rest. The mendicants have transcribed the rituals you need to do to perform this. The only catch is you must travel deep into the Outlands. You have also been cautioned that should you be successful, Tratea will most assuredly hunt you down. Welcome back to RP Gamepire, and before I explain the setup, I just want to let you know we're going to do a quest, or you can call it an adventure. And the first one, it's called the Outland Search Party, as in the title. And what makes this different, it's not a story quest where there's 3 acts usually, and they lay out what exactly you need to do. In this case, also the quests, the latest version, the updated version from the original version 1, they kind of lay out of how to do a setup, and they just give you a practical idea of what to do. Not necessarily written in stone, but it gives you a theory of what they expected, what they do. In this case, there's going to be 3 different hunting packs. Okay, that's what they're supposed to be, and there's going to be 4 gravestones, okay, that the heroes have to go by right adjacent, and then have to do a non-combat action of target number 4, which is kind of almost easy, and they have to pretty much pass that in order. Once they do all 4, and as you could see, they're laid out here somewhere, and they got to get rid of the foes first, because that's pretty much the priority as always. So once the 4 are done successfully and nobody got pretty much killed, then the darkness will have no power over them, and they will be able to gain 2 serendipity, and at that point they're going to be able to connect to a chain quest. Chain quest means some quests have like 2 parts, 3 parts, so you can think of it as an act, but it's different. Quests can be played as standalone individual kind of mission, objectives. So in this case, obviously you were asked to pretty much, bring an end, or for Arthur, the reason why Arthur is here and Arthur decided to follow through, he pretty much was asked by Sir Archeron to, as the story goes, to pretty much lay the soldiers' spirits to rest. But for others, for Lance, Trish, and Amnok, and Lilly, they're out here for revenge. And that is more and more importantly, as they're out here to seek out their betrayal and their betrayer, which we're going to find out soon enough. And more importantly, they are seeking to bring peace to the dead, and also to find out why they were betrayed. More importantly, to bring the spirits to rest. So in this case, this is the grubbers right here, and this is the little minion crawlers. Okay, they have shooter types and they have melee types, and in this case all of these ones are all melee type. Now there's also new type of foes, which is the shamblers. We can call them the undead minions, and all of these are minions. The only difference is that this minion is more considered an intellect, and this is instinct. Usually what that means, this kind of foes mean they don't care for necessity of precision attack. They just care to run in and they storm in, and they don't care what happens after that. So these ones are undead kind of minions, and so, but they all have 1 vitality, so they're easy to kind of kill. The only thing between them is this one's really have good movement of 4, this one's 3, and this one's a 2. But those 3 shamblers in the back right here are shooters. I don't know if you see them, and that is also something important to notice. So the crawlers have shooters, but in this case they're all melee in here, but the shamblers have with them shooters, and that is a little bit different in attack. And so when they attack, I will explain what it is that they do. So one thing to watch out is when the grubbers attack together, their courage status lowers. So that means that their courage status, instead of being the 7 here, will become 5. Okay, and that's because they have strength in numbers. And strength in numbers is while there are 4 or more grubbers on a realm tile, each grubber reduces their courage value by 2. All right, so that's very, very important. Now, the crawlers, on the other hand, they don't have anything special other than they're easy to target. There are 4, okay, just like the shamblers, but they have poison. So if the target suffers any damage from the attack, so the target gains the poison status effect, okay? So you wouldn't want poison in any sense. And what poison does is damage over time, and target receives 1 damage every refresh phase until the status is removed. So you don't want that in any way. Now this tile realm, I'm just going to remove this 2 amazing heroes for a second. It says that you can do a story quest or a trap, and in this case there's a story quest on this tile. And if you want, your choice right here is to have a lair, and we will choose not to, because in this case there's more than the 2 hunting packs. There's 3, and in this case there's 5 possible treasure chests that you can find. But on top of that, you also get 6 gold, which I always find no purpose, and also for the treasure, and I'll explain that very soon. And also 1 merchant finds himself here. Now let me get back to explaining why. Early on, when you start the game, until you obtain much more titles, and titles are kind of, think of it as your leveling upgrade. And what they allow you to do is, for every title, an item you can keep. So that's very, very important. So if the heroes obtain more titles, then let's say they have 5 titles, then they can pretty much, it will make sense to go and find the treasures that they may seek out and keep some of them. But at this point, and they could keep up to 5 per hero. So if a hero has 5 titles, he can keep 5 items that he finds. Now you might be right by saying try to at least obtain the loot and find an item that might help you in this mission or objective. But with the 5 heroes itself, it kind of invalidates it, because they're strong and they work in synergy, and it's usually very hard to usually slay one unless something really, really kind of bad, or they find themselves in a jam. And I purposely don't try to make it hard just for the sake of making it hard. I just try to follow as the story per quest makes sense to have, as best as I possibly can. Now saying that, also the gold, which you cannot keep, you know, beyond this quest, or even modules, which modules are kind of story long quests, like the 3 acts, and if you following through in sequence, they just escape the jails, and that the whole Great Escape was a whole module story quest. So this one is like an adventure mini quest, or side quest. In some video game aspect, it will be considered like a side quest. And getting to the point, the merchant will kind of invalidate, because you can't keep the gold, right? So unless you can purchase an item with the gold that you can keep, it has no purpose. So to me, my attitude is, I'm not going to go kind of out of my way for those treasures, because they're not going to, well, wait on the heroes in any sense for future on. Now, very, very important, though, I know Lance has pretty much a title, and he already has an item that he has kept from his Great Escape, and he has found, and if you remember, it is this one. Okay, and it is pretty much what it does. It's 2 ammo, and ready 1 ammo card from the discard each hero cycle. Okay, so pretty much it makes sure that he always has an ammo ready, in the ready, when he's about to take his action or hits his turn. So now that I kind of laid it out, and we know the story, we know the purpose, let's see how the heroes take action from here. So by the way, before we begin, at this point, it's good to note that Lance can carry up to 7 ammo, and that's formidable, especially for Orion's Tears, if he happens to have it. So before the heroes start, before they get to action, little Lilly is gonna start playing her little warp spoons together and chant something really powerful. The deaths decided. Now, because she will not move, she will be able to seek out 4 targets, damage them for 1, and range of 3. So you deal 1 damage to a number of targets within range to your movement. And this will be considered an action and will increase the AP by 2. So this will increase, and now she will seek out 4 targets. That is really powerful to start off with. And now let's see. So she's going to be from here. So 1, 2, and 3. So this target. All right. 1. Okay, but don't forget, it's a maximum of 4 targets. So I think she'll take out this 4 right here, right now. Okay. But those poison. That's the thing. Well, either way, she already obliterated them, so they're done with. So this 4 are pretty much gone. And as you could see, it reveals a tombstone right there. And that is where lays one of the fallen soldiers that they have to go by and target number of 4 or greater pray at to bring peace. All right. And at this point, her threat goes up by 4, up to 4. I mean, at 4, and due to what she just did. So now let's see what the next hero will do, because at this point she chanted that and she kind of started off the board. Lance will keep it simple. He readies his bows and he has 3 ammos to prepare, and he's going to put that 3 in his slot. All right. Just to show that he's readying them for the next round. So don't forget that also you always start with at least 1 ammo card ready during the hero setup. So you find and place 1 ammo card in the quiver location on your hero board. Whenever the last ammo card on your quiver would be discarded, return it to the, so you always have a minimum of 1. So I'm going to seek out 1 ammo quickly and I'm going to put it in the ready for him. So either ways, he has 3 prepared and he will have it. So don't forget, this one only says that he grabs it ready 1 ammo card from the discard each hero cycle. There's none in the discard because we just started playing. So that is important to note. So now let's see what the other heroes will do. So Trish, without hesitation, after what Lilly and Lance did, she will illuminate the tile. And this is very important because the crawlers are instinct. And pretty much she's going to increase their target number to hit by 1. And that is fundamentally very important. And it doesn't raise the AP, and neither is it considered an action. So that's very, very good. All right. Also, what she's going to do is cast this ongoing spell and to Reservoir of the Ancients. This will enable her arcane attacks to be a little bit more powerful than the usual, giving her extra dice. And that's also a reaction. It would not cause her AP to go up in any way. Okay. Now, last but not least, she's also going to increase her AP by 1. But this is because she wants to put on protection, ignore 1 damage per hero cycle, aura of the elements. And that's pretty much good and powerful. And at that point, she will just stand and leave it at B. So let's see what Arthur and Amnok will do. Well, Amnok will just bring on the armor of the faith and affect a whole tile. So each enemy within range has its target number increased by a number of equal to your faith. By default, because you're an acolyte, you have 1 faith. And because this card mentions faith right here, you have 2 faith, so it will increase by 2. So don't forget the instincts, which are the crawlers, already have 1. Their target number increased by 1 because thanks to the Reservoir of the Ancients. No, not the Reservoir, sorry. Illuminate that Trish has casted. And so then this means increase their target number by 3. Theirs is increased by 2. Okay. And so are theirs. So that makes it very difficult. So if you're following me, basically They will, in the ordinary, they usually take to hit, they will need to roll usually a 7 or greater, but in this case, he will need to roll a 9, and they will need to roll a 10, which is pretty much impossible. But hey, it's still worth the try. And now let's see what Arthur is doing, because after Arthur seeing what everybody's doing, he's edging and really screaming to give pain. I just corrected, by the way, the AP from 2 to 3, because it should be due to the fact that the aura of the elements that Trish casted brought on the AP of darkness. Now Arthur is going to do something wild, and that is because currently of what Amnok and Trish did, it makes him feel bold. So the first thing he's going to do is sprint. Okay, so as you could see, but if he does a sprint, that's considered an action. And in this case, he cannot do the next thing that he seeks to do. So you know what? He will still do it. And what he will do, he's going to bring himself into the foray, into battle. So he's going to do this. He's going to bring the AP up by 1. Okay. So he's going to increase the AP by 1. And he's going to run in 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. What a charge. He brings himself there. And we will see right now what is the reason that he did that. And because he did that, well, pretty much he's going to kind of, well, he wants to do something. So he's going to do something that pretty much is going to increase the AP. All right. But he's going to keep certain things into element and a surprise element that he wants to do. So after he did that and he brought the AP, he's going to intentionally try to attack one target within range. It's targeting an armored enemy. This attack gains -2 target number, and the shamblers are not in any sense armored. The grubbers are, but so in this case, he's going to use this as a reaction, and this does 1 damage, range melee. So he's going to use this to pretty much attack this shambler right here. Okay, so let's do that first before he does the next action, and that increased the AP by 1. So that's very, very important. And now it's going to be at 5. So let's roll and let's see what Arthur can do. Well, Arthur will roll. Oh, by the way, I canceled this. He cannot do this. And just to show you why, because he just did an action which made him move, overmove pretty much, run, you could say. And it would be considered aggressive move. It's usually called in the game aggressive move, and Arthur aggressively moved forward, and because of that he cannot do this action. So at this point this is cancelled, but what he is there. So in this case the AP goes back down by 1, and this card is pretty much would remain in his hand. So because they cannot do anything else, the heroes they don't want to forfeit what advantage they have now. So let's see what they could do more. Otherwise, they will need to refresh and do the deck phase. So sadly, Arthur cannot do anything other than being there alone. But it's strategically, I will intentionally try to increase the AP to 6 to activate the darkness. Strategically, it just makes sense. If we go into the deck phase and then the refresh phase, they lose that edge where they have over the instinct and the other minions. So we want to get them to activate, because they won't be able to harm you in any shape or form to a certain extent. So what's going to happen now, because she didn't move, Trish, she will try the Arcane Lance, and the Arcane Lance is pretty much attack one target within range to do 2 damage, and because she's not going to move, the target number is easier to hit because it's within range of 4, and she can pretty much hit anything that's within her, and she's going to eliminate the last grubber right there. It just makes sense. So she's going to aim at that grubber now. because of the reservoir of the ancients, she gets an extra 2 dice, 10. So let's see. She gets 1 for being an amazing apprentice. She gets 1 because of her weapon, and that's the enchanted twig. She gets another 1 because she has the mark of the apprentice, and she gets 2 fate dice because of that. 1 comes from the mark of the apprentice, and 1 because she's a skilled apprentice. All right. And also, let's not forget, she gets 2 more die 10 and 2 fate die from the reservoir of the ancients, which pretty much is a sure death just for that. But I'm going to increase the AP and slowly bring on the darkness to smother the heroes. But this is all the dice that she rolls. So for her to fail on this, we need to talk. Oof, 6 and a 9. And she does get this, which lowers the threat. So she obliterates him right off the tile. And she also doesn't increase her threat because she got her fate symbol. And if you go to her weapon, which is the enchanted twig, by the way, if you could see this, it says -1 threat after the attack. All right. And that's what she pretty much did, and that's what she will do. So that's very well done. But then again, to miss would be a questionable thing. But then again, when you roll the dice, there is a chance. So she did that as her 4th action, and pretty much there's nothing else she can do. But now we want to bring on the darkness, and what we will do to bring on the darkness, we're going to force Lance to make a move. And he will, because he, unlike the other heroes, he has the title of the Ranger of Iron Sadness. If you're following the storyline, he pretty much obtained this after him and the heroes have escaped of Kayardin, the dungeon prison. And this will allow him to have, the archer has +1 hand size, and because of that, he had this card in his hand. And this is an action. It's going to be the only action he does, which is the 4th action by chance. And he will move, and this will bring on the darkness. So let's see him sprint across. So he will, what he will do is 1, 2, and 3 at this point. And he will come like this. And he will bring the AP to 6, and then he will go back to 0 as the darkness will strike the heroes. All right, so the darkness now takes effect, and the first thing you do is you reveal a card from the top. If no hero is within 2 squares of another, spawn 4 minions and 1 captain from all active layers immediately. Well, that's not true. So the fact that if no hero is within 2 squares, so there is a hero within 2 squares, more than 2 squares, and even him, Arthur. So that in that case, it does not occur. The threat, well, there's no threat. So minions act, and after normal spawn, the spawned monsters receive 1 activation while there's no lair, so that doesn't take effect. So now we will see the enemies, how they respond, how they react. So instinct just pretty much, this ones will just stay right here within reach. And this ones will try 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. They move 4. And this one will just try to move here, try to get here. And the shamblers won't move because they feel that they can hear. And the shooters within range, they'll stay there because there's no reason for them to move. But all of them pretty much have done what they have to do. And now it is pretty much their turn. And we're going to do it one by one. So this one is going to attack Amnok. And they roll, because of what they need to roll a 10, and they roll in 1 die. So if you see right here, it says a 7. Okay, they roll 1 die, 10, 1 fate die, and they can only strike 1 opponent, and they need a 7 or greater. They do 1 damage, and they range 1. So, and they rolled this. If they rolled this in the fate die, the opponent is poisoned. Now, let's not forget, Amnok, okay, has increased the target number of all opponents by 2, so this will become a 9. But because what Trish did, and that was illuminate the place, it's ongoing, by the way, so it's always in effect. Each instinct enemy within range has the attack target increased by 1, so you need to roll a 10 or greater to be a success. So let's roll this and let's see. And he rolls, sorry, it goes off a little bit, but he rolled a 2, he or she, and this minion missed. Now this minion will try to get Lance. Wow, what a, oh, by the way, I was supposed to roll the fate die, so in this case I'll say it was a successful attack. And what do you know? Oh no, it actually didn't succeed. So it did do 1 damage, but it did not poison. So Amnok takes 1 damage. So he goes down from his 7 vitality to 6 vitality. All right. So the next thing is, now let's see. Pretty much this, all 3 are going to attack Arthur. So you don't need to roll 3 dice because they're all, if it hits, it hits. I would roll 3 dice because there's 3 opponents. So let's see. So they all fail in the attack, so it's irrelevant. Even though this strike in poison, because the attack was not successful, it does not occur, and pretty much all of this 3 have missed on. Now let's see those 2. Oof, and sorry for that. So those 2 shamblers come in, and they pretty much roll also, but they need to strike 9 to be successful. So let's see for those 2 shamblers. And they fell 2. All right, not rolling so great for them. And now they're ranged ones because it's within 2, and they can all attack. And now those 3 will also try to strike. And the highest was a 7, and pretty much that's not enough. And sadly so, nobody has managed to strike the heroes except for Amnok, but luckily he didn't get poisoned, which is very, very good. So at this point, let's see how the heroes react, because now it's the hero cycle back again. So the heroes, without hesitation, they'll go now and clear everything they have and keep any card they wish to keep, but they're going to go into the deck phase. So now that the heroes have improved their skills and Lilly has lowered her threat due to the fact that she has not used much of her actions in the previous round, now it is pretty much, let's see what the refresh phrase will bring. And refresh, don't forget, first is the darkness, so the AP will go to 1, but more than 1. Why? Because there's 2 type of foes. If the grubbers were there, the AP would have gone up by 3, but in this case it will go up to 2, because there are 2 type of foes still on the board. All right, so those 2 foes are the crawler minions and the shambler minions. All right, and one is the undead and the other one is instinct foes or insect foes. All right, and now that we did that, the allies, there's no allies. The quest results, well, there's no really quest result. And status effects, there's none. Traps. And the cleanup phase, well, there's nothing to clear or clean up, and the heroes have not yet done anything to praise the fallen soldiers. So now the hero cycle begins. So the first to take action will be Lilly, as she wants to begin her praise. To the surprise of others, all she does is put on a warm smile, but Arthur never looks back, and he unleashes the harvest of bones, the biggest of pain, to his foes. So this one will provide him 1 die 10, but more importantly, it will strike the foes around him. So automatically, these 2 foes will be stricken, but now he could sacrifice and also strike these 2 foes right here if he unleashes rage. And the way you unleash rage, there's several ways. One, some of his cards that he could play into action may have in here mentioned the word rage, but in this case it's not. So instead he could put face down cards for each rage he wants to put into place, and he wants 2 more rage, so that will allow him to strike the foes to his right, as you could see there, based on the rage. Okay, so and this will cost 2 AP, and it's an action. All right, and it's an aggressive action, I'd say, in my opinion, but not aggressive, sorry, he didn't move, so he gets 1 die 10 for that, but he increases the darkness by 2, and that will bring it to 4 at this point. Now he will roll, and he strikes all this 4 right here if he does that successfully. So first he gets the die 10 because of the harvest of the bones. He did not move. Then he gets it because he's a fine soldier, and with that comes a fate die. Then also because he has the heirloom of the Haldorian blade, he gets 2 more die 10s. Okay, and at this point he look at his allies. Does anybody want to support him on this current attack? Well, before he could say anything, or they could say anything, he already unleashed his fury, and let's see what happens. And pretty much he strikes them all. And in this sense, I should have rolled differently, but I don't usually, because they all have the same, if you notice, strike defense. So it's like 4 or greater, 4 or greater, and in this case it doesn't matter, and they've all been stricken, as you could see, with this amazing roll that he had. So in this case he obliterated all 4. And what an amazing, oh, and what do you know, at the same time, all the amazing valiant tombstones of these fallen soldiers have revealed themselves. So in this case, he also takes his threat up to 4, and he pretty much did something formidable. Well, Amnok is going to get into the fray finally, and in this point, he's not going to move, but he's going to turn to his foes, ugly looking crawling foes, and he's going to smite them. And in this case he lowers their target number by 2, which makes it much easier. Instead of 4 it becomes 2. Okay, and he attack 1 target within range. All right, so and this he's going to use as reaction, which is amazing, so he could use this as a reaction. All right, and it's going to cost 1 AP, so he's going to increase from 4 to 5. So let's see what he does. And in this case, he rolls 1 because of his weapon, and he rolls 1 because he's a fine acolyte, Amnok is, and he gets 1 fate die. So let's see what he gets as a result. And at this point, it's a sure hit, and he strikes this crawler, and he slays it. All right. I also forgot to mention that Amnok dropped a treasure there because he struck so many opponents. All right, and there's a treasure right there, as you could see. And now that Amnok did this, he will again unleash for a second time, lower the target number, raise the action, which will bring it to 6, by the way, and it's a reaction, so he could do that multiple times. He's not considering it as an action, and that's an amazing thing about this card. And he's going to strike this opponent right here. It will bring it to 6 AP, by the way, and the darkness will react. But first, let's see how he strikes this opponent, and he surely strikes, as you could see, and because of that, his threat will go by 2. But I think right now Arthur is the most threatening from them all, and this was amazingly done, and he has used 2 of his action slots in this case. And let's not forget that Arthur has used 3, and Trish has 3 of her 4 slots used, and Lilly hasn't done much, and neither has Lance, but they won't get the chance because the darkness will react to the Amnok's amazing action, and he slayed. So let's see what happened. Previous damage done to the lair spawns equal number of minions immediately. Okay, so pretty much there was no lair. So previous damage done to the lair spawns equal number of minions immediately. So there's no lair and there's threat. Hero are limited to 3 actions. Okay, so they're not. A minion, see minion card, heavy spawn. Okay, so in this case, just let the minions react. So nothing happens. So the minions take first action and he will try to attack Arthur. What the? Bugsy little ugly looking creature right here. And it will try to attack Arthur with its 1 die 10 and 1 fate die. And this time there's nothing to lower its target number. But let's see. Okay, so let's see. So it's a 7. It's successful, but it doesn't, it doesn't pretty much poison him, and I'll accept that. So he goes from 7 to 6. All right, Arthur goes down by 1, and pretty much that is all good. Wow. So now those 3 shamblers will try to strike. And they don't roll any fate die, but they will try to strike. Let's see. So 7, 9. So at this point, so 2 damage they do to Arthur. But at this point, before the damage can go through, Amnok unleashes the Guardian Angel. And this is an interrupt versus, as you can see, it's an interrupt. And it affects the whole tile. And it's faith. Each successful attack targeting 1 target within range must be rerolled once. You gain 2 threat. I don't think he cares much for the threat. And he will use this. So let's see. It was 2 that hit. And so far it's 1 of them that remains successful. And at this point, Arthur will take 1 more damage. It goes down to 5. Amazingly so. And now that that is done, pretty much, let's see, at this point in the darkness cycle, what will happen? So Arthur was able to praise and pray at one of the 4 tombstones of the fallen soldiers. And now it is Trish's turn. And Trish will roll. She has 2 chances to do it. And she rolls 1 die. But let's not forget that each hero within range of Lilly, will get another die to roll. Because she has been patient revealing her neutral verse, and they have a +2 to their non-combat action dice roll. So she's gonna roll twice, and let's see how successful she becomes on it. So 7, oh wow, she rolled amazingly. So she has also been able to successfully prey on the fallen soldiers, and this is the second one that she was able to do. Now let's see Amnok if he's able to do it too. And he will be able to roll it also, and by chance 1 of the 2 was successful. It's enough, and he also will praise the fallen soldier. And at last Lance will turn and face and do his prayer, and by chance it also was successful, and he was able to praise at the fallen soldier's tombstone. And the heroes have successfully accomplished this quest adventure. All right, and pretty much they have target number of 4 or greater. They have to be adjacent to the grave marker, and they did that. If the 4 grave markers tokens are on this card, well, it is, gain 2 serendipity. Okay, and because this is a chain quest, they will get the captain's fall quest. Okay, into the quest deck. So pretty much they're going to do that next, now that they have successfully accomplished this one, and they have obtained, for this successful accomplishment, they will obtain 2 serendipities, all right, and also 6 gold coins, and they will be able to see a merchant, all right. So let's see, for the sake of discussion and sight. Oh, what do you know? A merchant has just appeared. We have appeared Gerald Salvas. He is a healer merchant. How formidable is that? And pretty much $3 to buy a major vitality potion, the Shield of Light for 12, or to restore a hero for 5 gold. We only have 6 gold that we have obtained successfully for accomplishing this tile quest. So we were going to buy for the next quest, that is a chain quest, for this one, a major vitality potion. So we're going to use all the 6 gold for that purpose, because either ways we cannot keep it any further than that. So a major vitality potion is something like this, as seen before. You restore 6 vitality, which is very formidable and something much needed in the future whatever battles. And the 2 heroes that are going to get it, obviously it's Arthur, because he does the most of anything in a sense when it comes to damage. And you know what, I'm thinking of giving it to also to Trish, to keep her just safe, because she takes on a lot of risks, and you know what, it's just important just to keep her safe. So right now the heroes have finished this first adventure since they left the prison cell or dungeon, and it's called Outland Search Party, and in comes the chain quest, and let's follow it through upcoming. Thank you for watching, subscribe, and I hope you like what you saw. The soldiers and their families are now at peace. The darkness holds no power over them now.